Hi, beautiful souls. You must be wondering where I have been. I have been a little bit MIA and I have missed a few weeks of the podcast. And if I'm perfectly honest, this is what today's episode is kind of going to be around a bit around guilt and around honoring our own inner rhythms, because I felt so bad. I honestly was beating myself up over it. And I have just had one of those periods where life has just got on top of me and so many things are happening at once that I've honestly felt a bit burnt out, and the universe has been testing me. I have been trying to force things, trying to control things, and learning a few hard lessons by doing that instead of honoring my own inner rhythm, which I know how to do. I know this. I teach this, but am I perfect? No. Do I try and push and control things at times? Yes, I definitely do. And I got a few hard lessons along the way. So a few weeks back, I made a commitment to myself when I started the podcast. I'll get an episode out every week. I'll have an episode out for the girls. And I never want it to come from, I have to really kind of push something out there. I just like it to flow naturally with something that's maybe come up at the studio, lessons that I've been going through, family or friends or people in my community have been going through, and how I can impart a bit of wisdom to you, how I can kind of help you along your journey. And what happened was I felt so bad that I didn't honor that commitment, and I could feel it was like, I like to have an episode out first thing in the Monday morning. 90% of the time it is, sometimes it might be a little bit later, but most of the time it is. And I can tell by checking the back end that you guys are listening to them when they get dropped, whether it's on your way to work or doing your morning thing. So I know that there are people waiting for it on a Monday morning, and I felt, I've got to get this done. I've really got to get this done. My week it just had one of those periods. I had an LSKD event in the city that wrote me off for a whole day. There were just things that were happening, that meetings that I had because I was changing software systems, working on the back end on my website with my IT guy. There's just so much happening. I literally feel like I'm starting my business from scratch, if I'm perfectly honest. And going into the new financial year was kind of that period where your guns are blazing, you're ready to go. You want to kind of bring some changes into this new financial year, right? And I had this day where I was thinking, I've got to get this episode done. I knew what I was going to talk about. And sometimes I will have notes, sometimes I won't have notes. And I had a few notes jotted down because there was a few things I wanted to cover in this particular episode, and not this episode that I'm sharing with you now, another one, and it's gone now. It's literally fleeted. It's gone. It may come back up again. Who knows? But it's left me. If you don't capture inspiration in the moment, it leaves you. And anyway, I'm looking at the clock thinking, I've got to get this episode done before I go to the studio. Then what happened is I went to print out some of my notes that I'd been taking, that I'd been jotting down throughout the week. The printer ran out of toner. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm running out of time. I was getting a little bit flustered because there were 3 cartridges out. So I'm changing all the cartridges. Because I've rushed, I've got ink on the floor. It was just a mess. I got it on my new clothes. And anyway, changed the cartridge over. Then I'm trying to send it to print. It wouldn't print. The message wasn't going through to the printer. And I'm like, what is going on? So I said to Tom, can I email these notes to you? He can't airdrop because I use everything Apple. He doesn't. So I had to kind of email the notes to him and then get him to try and print it off. That wasn't working. It was just a schmozzle. Ended up getting the notes done. Took him a little while, but we got it done. My computer there was just no signal going through, right? It wasn't receiving it because it was coming from force. Then I sat down to record. My iPhone got literally halfway through and it says storage full. Excuse me. I'm like, you're kidding me. So then I would go delete some more stuff off my phone, jump in. This happened to me twice. Full. Storage full. I'm like, no way. Let me go and download some of it now. And then I'll jump back on, clear it from my phone, record again. So I try that, and it was taking forever. With the internet, it just wouldn't load. I'm looking at the time and I'm like, I've got to get to the studio. Bugger this. I'm just not going to do it. I got to the studio and my beautiful client Deb was there, and she said, how are you going, hon? And I said, I feel so bad. I haven't got a podcast episode done. She goes, it's just 1 week. It's not going to matter. I said, I know, but I made a commitment to myself that every week I will have a podcast done. I've been doing it. I've got like well over 100 episodes on there. I feel like I've let my community down, and I feel like I've let myself down. I haven't honored that promise to myself, but I just haven't had it in me this week. And she goes, oh, hon, it's just 1 week. It's not going to matter. You've got so much content there. We can listen to something else. It's totally fine. So I had a feeling of, she's right. I need to stop beating myself up about this, because I felt guilty. I felt bad. I felt like I'd let people down. And she's like, it's just a week. What's the big deal? I said, I know. Next week rolls around. I feel exactly the same. I don't have it in me to actually record a podcast. I was just run off my feet, and I knew because I learned the lesson last week, if I try and force it, it's not going to come out the way I want it to. Things are going to go wrong. And then I had teachers sick. I had 3 classes I had to do that Monday afternoon. Usually I teach 2. Then one of my evening teachers rang in sick, and I had to cover her class because nobody else could do it. And I'm like, I cannot do this right now. I don't have it in me to teach 3 classes. I don't even have it in me I'm just so tired. I literally feel so tired. I ended up making a decision, which I honored myself in that moment. And I said, I am not going to bring my best energy forward to the community. I had like a 4:30, a 5:30 and a 6:30 class. And my first 2 were high intense. And then I had to back it up with yoga. And I thought, there was like barely anybody booked into the 4:30 class. Traffic's bad at that. It was 4:15. I was about to change the class times. And I went, you know what? I'm just going to cancel the class. I think that's best for me and best for the community, because I don't have it in me. And I actually felt a feeling of relief. I felt good. There was only a couple of people booked in. I messaged them. They come to the next one, which was fine. And I had a lot more booked in for the yoga class in the evening. So I ended up only teaching the 2 classes. And that was a big decision for me to make, because I don't cancel classes unless like I absolutely have to. It's out of my control. Or something, it's got to be a real, I just don't cancel them willy-nilly, because I honor my commitment to my community. And I felt bad, but I also felt this feeling of relief. As soon as I hit cancel and it all worked out fine, I honestly had this feeling of, thank goodness it was that bit of a relief. So I can see what happens. This is what happens when you come from force or pressure and things don't go your way. Or that's what happens when you listen to what is going on, you listen to your signs, you listen to your guidance, you listen to how your body is feeling, and you feel that sense of relief. So just learning to tune into your energy, tune into your emotions, tune into that frequency, tune into how you're feeling, and learning to honor that. And I must admit, all week I did not honor that. It was just one thing after another that I had to get through. And I got to the end of the week. It was Friday morning. One of my clients comes in and she says to me, I just finished teaching class, and she says, the toilet's blocked. And I'm like, what? I go in there and the water wouldn't drain away. It wasn't a mess or anything. It was just like the water wouldn't drain away. So I'd kind of, trying to unblock it, flush it, same thing was happening. It wouldn't drain away, and it just kept filling up. And I'm like, I'm angry for 2 reasons. One, I'm angry because I had to race back. I had a meeting that I had to get back for. And also I was listening on a podcast on this podcast that was sharing about being the founder and running your business, and how he literally said in the podcast, you need to be doing the jobs that are going to help build your community. You need to be doing the jobs that are going to be creative jobs, that are going to be, you know, the bigger vision jobs. You don't want to be in there cleaning the toilets. And I'm sitting there with the brush trying to clear this blockage going, fuck this shit, I should not be in here cleaning the toilets. Not that I'm above cleaning the toilets. I don't mean that at all. I just meant like my time could be better spent doing the activities that no one else can do, like the podcasting or like the big visioning stuff that I'm doing, or actually running my classes or running the things that only I can do. Instead, I'm here trying to clear a blockage in the toilet. Thank goodness my beautiful, beautiful client, Cheryl from Moyle Plumbing, I messaged her, she got it sorted. The boys come out and we, you know, it was literally fixed within an hour. But it cost me, right? Like I had to pay, like it cost me time, it cost me money. And I'm looking at that toilet and I'm driving home thinking to myself, that toilet is full, because that is how I feel. Like it was literally full to the brim. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about it on my drive home. I'm very deep. Like I think deep over toilets, right? Or all sorts of things. I look at the messages, like what is the messages that the universe is trying to give me? What is going on around me? Is that a representation of how I'm feeling, how my energy's feeling? The toilet was blocked because I felt blocked. I felt like I wasn't in flow. I felt like I was just fighting against this resistance for a couple of weeks. And it cost me time and it cost me money. I had to pay to get a tradie out to fix it. And I was feeling frustration. But then I was grateful because I had a beautiful client who helped me out and got her boys out and got it sorted, no worries at all. But look around, girls. Sometimes when things are maybe not going your way or things are going your way, like look at both extremes, you know, like when things are working out and when they're not working out, when you're in flow, when you're resisting, are there messages, are there signs around you that are slowing you down? You know, sometimes I'll get stuck behind a truck or get stuck at a stop sign and I'm looking at it going, you're right, I need to slow down, or I just need to actually stop and breathe. And that's how I felt with the toilet. It was full to the brim of water and it could not flow away. And I felt my mind and my capacity was full to the brim of just to-do lists, of just, I needed support, I needed help, and I felt like I really needed to clear some of the blockage within myself because I just felt I couldn't function and my toilet couldn't function. So when you actually stop and you actually reflect and you actually look around, there are signs. The universe is giving you guidance all the time, but do you pay attention, or do you let things take over? Like I could have got really angry over that. Instead, I looked at the situation and I went, you know what? I'm grateful I had this support. I have somebody in my community that was able to fix it for me straight away. I'm grateful that it was a reminder for me to look at my own life and where I'm feeling blocked in my own vessel and where I'm not flowing. So thank you, universe, for giving me the message. Or I could have got stuck in the anger. I could have got stuck at the resentment of having that it cost me money. And I thought about it and I went, it's costing me energy. If I don't sort myself out, it's actually costing me that energetic expense. Is what I was feeling. I was looking at all these things around me that were either full to the capacity, like my iPhone, like the toilet, or things that were just not flowing for me because I wasn't taking the time to rest. I wasn't taking the time to say no to things. I was trying to take on too much all at once, and it literally affected the way I was feeling and the way that I was moving through life. I noticed I was snappier with the family. I noticed that I was irritable. I noticed like I pulled a muscle. I had to go to this LSKD, or not had to, it was really amazing event. I got this beautiful jumper that I've got on now because I've been invited to be one of the headquarter athletes for the year. So I had to go to this athlete kickoff where it was kind of like a big launch, and they were sharing with us what to expect from the year of both of us, how we can mutually impact each other's community. I'm getting ready and I pulled a muscle in my shoulder putting my shirt on to go to this event. No word of a lie. And I'm like, what is going on? And I sat in traffic to go into the city. I left super early and it was about 90 minutes of traffic to get there, having to find the place at the hotel, the Kauai Hotel in the Fortitude Valley. and then drive home in 90 minutes of traffic. I left it pretty much dark and I got home at pretty much dark. And I come down here, as soon as I hit the cane fields when I was on my way home, I felt this instant feeling of relief. The city is busy. Look, no offense if you do this all the time, I'm not a fan of the city. I used to have to go in there all the time for work many moons ago. And it's busy and it is hectic, and it is the traffic is hectic, but I just popped on my Raising My Vibrations playlist, and so I'm fine, or I'll listen to a podcast, and so I'm okay, I'm not flustered in the traffic. But there is people everywhere all around the city. And I got home driving through the cane fields, and I immediately felt this sense of relief and felt like I'm recentering my energy. I got home, I literally said hi Tom, walked straight outside, took my shoes and socks off, got my feet in the ground, straight on the grass, and I just laid there. I just laid on the grass. It was like the sun was about to set, and it was just so calming and so grounding, and I really needed that. I come down to the jetty. Brock saw me down the jetty. He come down. We often have chats down here, and we're watching the sunset with him, having a chat. And I was just reflecting on the day, and I thought to myself, this was after I was chatting with Brock. I had a beautiful moment with him, and it dawned on me that I know the contrast, right? I know what it feels like to be connected, to feel peaceful, to feel grounded, to feel out of the rat race. I know what that feels like. I go and step in the environment of traffic and the city, and my energy, I actually got a headache that afternoon. I had a headache, and I never get headaches. And I'm like, this is just, I could feel this kind of build up of busyness around me, and this build up of just so much energy going on, because it was an incredible day. Lots of energy, like they're an amazing brand to be aligned with, and there's lots of great things coming, but there's just so much energy in the room, energy in the traffic, energy in the people in the city, energy, everything in the city is just go. And you know what it was? I didn't get connected to nature until I got home that afternoon. And it really taught me a lesson of knowing the contrast of what it feels like to be grounded and connected versus what it doesn't, and to be heightened with the busyness of life. And I thought about this when I was driving home, and upon reflection in the evening, I thought, many people don't know the contrast, because that is how they're living their life. Like they're just getting up, going to work, going, to the busyness, sitting in traffic, come home, get dinner, and then go and do it all over again. And it really highlighted for me the urgency and the importance to, like, Lise, you've got to help more people get grounded. You've got to help more people get connected and get more connected into themselves, and show them how to ground, show them how to have moments of peace throughout their day, because we can't live in this little bliss bubble in nature all the time, as great as it would be. We've got jobs to do, we've got work to do, we've got families to take care of, we've got kids to run around. Like, life is busy for many people, but then it's up to us to be so connected and so aware of how we're feeling it in our body. Like for me, it was the headache. For me, it was, I could feel like I just felt heightened. I just felt busy. I'm like, I was constantly on edge almost. And then when I got home and I kind of felt that connection with nature, I felt peace. So no matter how busy your day is, no matter what kind of work that you have got, make sure, think of Earth Angel, right? Make sure you're moving your body. Make sure you're connecting to your spirit. Make sure you're taking care of your body. Make sure you're taking time to connect with your soul. Make sure you're nourishing your body with clean foods. Make sure you're grounding your energy out in nature. It is so important in this day and age. And that trip into the city really highlighted for me, now more than ever, how important it is in the busyness, when your cup is full and everything's going, 100 miles an hour and you feel busy, to get back connected to your own inner rhythm, get back connected to your own state. And there was one more thing that I wanted to share with you. So that was another reminder of how important it is to get connected back to ourselves and our own rhythm. And a couple of times this week, again, I did not get a podcast out this week. This will be going out next week. I went on my walk. I had planned to get my podcast out. I went on my walk. I was talking to a neighbour on my walk, and we got stuck talking for probably an hour, no word of a lie. I was going to record my podcast, and I got back home and I went, oh my goodness, I've been chatting to him for an hour. Because you know what happened? He asked me a couple of things. He said to me, and this was very random, but people open up to me about random things. He said, I've been doing hypnotherapy. Have you ever done any like past life regression? I said, yeah, I did on my lounge, the outdoor lounge this morning. He goes, what? And I was telling him how like I can do that for myself, and sharing my experience with him and what I saw. And then we got talking all things spiritual. He was sharing with me a few things about his dad who had passed over, and I was just feeling what was coming through, and I was sharing it with him, and he just wanted to keep talking and just learning more and more. And I was telling him about the Lionsgate portal that we're in at the moment, and how it's a perfect time to manifest, because he was feeling disconnected from his job. Very, very successful man, but one of his businesses he's feeling disconnected with. And I said to him, this is a really powerful time. This is good that this is coming up for you. It's a powerful time to start thinking about what you want to do, what you want to manifest, what you want to create. And we were talking a lot about service. It was a beautiful conversation. And he kept asking me, so what do I do in this Lionsgate portal? And I was telling him a few things. And then I said, you got to figure it out for yourself. Like, you've got to, I gave him a few tips, but you've got to tune into what's right for you. Then I come back and I went, I didn't get my podcast done. That's okay. Next day rolls around. I have a window where I was going to record my podcast. My beautiful cleaner and friends arrived. I was sitting out on my deck in some of my spiritual rituals, and she offloaded a few things that she's been going through. I felt it. I pulled a card that morning. It just didn't align with me, and I thought to myself, after she's telling me, I went, this card's for her. And I gave her the card, and she read it. And then she came and chatted with me a little bit more again. And it was just exactly what she needed. It brought up so much stuff, and it really, really helped her. Again, we chatted for another hour, and I'm like, shit, I got angry. And I'm like, not at her, but just at like, I ran out of time. And I'm like this happens to me all the time, everywhere I go. And I'm like, I still didn't get my podcast done, that I had a window of time to do it. And I sat in the frustration, and I thought to myself, I thought, I didn't get my work done. And then this voice popped in my head and said, it's because you've been doing your work. What if you've been doing with these people is actually you doing your work? And it flipped a switch in me. And I sat with that and I thought about it and went, the interactions that I have, because they've all walked away feeling great, right? And then it's up to me. Yes, I need to release. Like she said to me, Lisa, you need to go sage. I said, yeah, I actually do. No offense. I'm not like cleaning your energy off me, but I need to sage to get connected back into myself and back into my work, because I was writing my content for a couple of things for my coaching group. And I also had that night, I also had my Angels Align class, which is a really incredible class where I've got 90 minutes with you guys. We go through movement, but I take you through ritual, I take you through meditation, and I teach you, I give you the sacred space in that class to teach you some of the spiritual rituals. I read oracle cards, or I give you oracle cards if they're wanted, and I'll do energy healing throughout the class where they're doing their practice and their meditation. Powerful class, the girls are loving it. So I was prepping for that, and so I kind of was a bit frustrated that I didn't get my work done, in inverted commas, but then I thought to myself, by me interacting with these people in my day-to-day life, I'm doing my work. So I had to flip a switch, and I had to look at everything. I looked at all the lessons that were coming up, the frustrations that were coming up for me that week. And I went, you know what? I still had more. I got to the end of the week, still had so much more work to do. And I went, you know what? I just need to go and see my family. I went and hung out at my mum and dad's. I spent a bit of time with my sister, my Oma. And I just put my to-do list to the side and just went and spent time with my family, because I also felt in doing my work, in having a full to-do list in my busy period, I really felt I was neglecting and not having time for those things that mattered the most to me, that I had to make a decision. I went, you know what, I'm just going to put work aside, and I'm just going to go and spend a bit of time with my family. I went out with Tom on the jet ski one day. I went for a swim. So on this Saturday, I went for a swim. I felt in that salt water I mean, this is in the middle of winter and it felt epic. It just felt so good. I literally pulled the ski up, threw my skis and the stuff on the picnic rug, and just stripped down to my bikinis and walked straight in the ocean. Tom's like, "You're not going to lay down first?" I went, "No." I just dove straight into the ocean and I just floated and I just felt all the heaviness disappearing from me. And it felt so good. I felt like I really reset my energy. It was a beautiful day, like it was like glass out here. Then the next day, we had a fire. We had friends over for a fire. And then the next day, I just hung out at my mum and dad, spent a bit of time there with mum and dad, my sister and my Oma. And it just felt like I'd really just got back into flow and back in alignment. And I felt so good in my heart and soul. Is my to-do list still there? Yeah, it still was. And I went, you know what? It is not going to kill me, like Deb said, if my podcast doesn't come out once. It ended up being, I can't remember, I think it was like I think it'll be like 3 weeks that I missed, but I didn't have the energy for it. And I guess the reason I'm sharing this for you is to highlight for you to tune into your rhythm. And I'm going to read your card and it's going to make a little bit more sense, but also we've got to let go of this feeling of guilt. Like, what is the big deal? Like, in a couple of weeks I didn't get an episode out. And I knew that it wouldn't have been my best work anyway because I tried. I forced it. My storage was full. My printer wasn't working because I was trying to get it done. And in trying to get it done, I was forcing and I was pushing and I was controlling. And I'm like, that's never the energy I want to create from. With my creative work, when I teach on the mat, when I podcast, when I'm on retreat, like with all of my creative work or my work where I feel like I get this inspiration pour through to me and I share what comes through, I like it to feel in flow. I like it to feel aligned. I like it to feel authentic. I like it to feel like it's coming from my heart and soul and not just to get done for the sake of getting it done because I have to meet a deadline on the calendar. I have to have one out that week. So it was a real lesson for me to sit with because if I'm honest, I felt like shit. I felt like I let you guys down. I felt so bad. But that's okay. We have to feel the guilt. I had to write out the emotion, go, I'm okay, I'm aware of this. I'm aware I'm feeling guilty. I'm aware that this is how I'm feeling. But what's the alternative? Do I do it and come from force and then it's going to be rubbish anyway? Or do I just allow myself to have that little bit of time where I just needed to take a couple of weeks? And I also was looking at the collective energy and we're going into this Lionsgate portal at the moment. So there was a lot of build up. There were people in the community too who were feeling guilty because they hadn't got to their classes, or they were feeling guilty because things hadn't been done, like obligations hadn't been met, or they hadn't turned up for themselves. And I just want to share with you guys, like, we can just get back on track. It's not the end of the world. Like, did we die? No. Is it going to really make a big difference to our life if something is a little bit delayed? No, as long as it's coming from pure heart and pure intention, because the most important thing is that you're honoring your needs, you're honoring your body, you're honoring where you're at in the moment. And just going, you know what, I'm just going to get back on track. Don't stay there. Don't stay in whether it's a funk or whether it's, like you're low on energy. Think of this angel's framework. Have the awareness, right? I had the awareness. I tried to force and I had the awareness that it wasn't working. So what did I have to do? I went, I just got to nourish myself. And I spent, there was one day too in that whole couple of weeks where I went, this is not the healthiest, but my family, the boys love butter chicken and I make it from scratch and it takes me ages. And there was one Wednesday I went and did my classes. Then I went and had my massage. I went, I'm just going to come home and I went to the shops and I'm going to make some butter chicken. It's not fully nourishing, but they love it. But the cooking was nourishing for my soul, okay? It's not bad. It's only bad if you have too much naan bread. But I had vegetables with it as well. They didn't. They just loaded up their naan bread. But I really nourished my soul. I spent a bit of time in the kitchen with Tom. We were cooking. We were, spending time together. Riley's boyfriend Callum was over. We all had a beautiful meal together. That felt nourishing. Getting out on the jet ski for me felt nourishing. Having a swim felt nourishing. Having friends by the fire that night felt nourishing. Going and hanging out with my mum and my dad and my Alma and my sisters felt nourishing. All those things helped nourish me and get me back. The grounding after coming home from the event in the city, that grounding made me feel nourished. The chat with my son on the jetty nourished me. Like, so how can you then nourish yourself? Have the awareness of how you're feeling, but how can you nourish your body, mind, and soul to get you back into alignment? Gee, guidance. What guidance is coming around for you? You know, like the signs, like I said, the toilet being blocked, the iPhone storage being full, all of those little things that were happening. The signs that were coming through was strong. The cards that I was pulling, my cards were literally telling me to take a rest and I ignored them. So what guidance is coming through? It could be like a song that you hear, a bird that you see, whatever sign comes through for you. It could be someone that actually says something to you, getting stuck behind a truck, making you slow down. The universe is talking to you all the time in little ways. It's up to you to open up, to pay attention and to listen. Energy, your energetics, checking in with your energy. My energy was feeling awful. My energy was feeling depleted. My energy was feeling like it was just so, it was almost like I was so disconnected and I was just full to the brim. And I went, and then things weren't working out for me. Things were definitely not working out for me because I wasn't putting out the right energy. I wasn't putting out the right vibration, that I had to work on shifting my energy, giving myself giving myself love, coming back to that feminine energy of softness, coming back to that energy of how can I give myself a little bit more love? How can I look at these situations through the eyes of more love instead of feeling anger and resentment, looking for the lessons. L could probably stand for lessons too, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, what are the lessons that were coming up for me? But I had to give myself a little bit of love and kindness and compassion and go, you know what, Lise, it is okay if you didn't get the podcast out. It's not the end of the world. It's okay that you canceled that class. Like, it's okay. Having that kindness towards yourself is one of the most compassionate and loving things that you can do, because what do most women do? We sit in guilt, we sit in overwhelm, we sit in fatigue, we sit in the energy of beating ourselves up, where sometimes we just have to go, it's okay, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my absolute best. And then surrender. I just had to surrender into go, okay, fine, I get the message. I can see what's happening. You're trying to teach me and I'm not listening. I just have to surrender and go with it and go, you know what? When my energy is back up to podcasting, I will do it then. I will watch what is happening around me and I will see how I am feeling. I will check in with that awareness again. And I'm just going to surrender to the higher plan. Maybe I'm not meant to, because you know what? Sometimes we need to retreat from the world. And I had to surrender I had to go within for a little bit. And I had to look at a lot of areas of my life. And I took out my journal and I spent a bit of time journaling and looking at what's working and what's not working, what I need support with, what can I change. And coming into this Lionsgate portal, which is the 8th of the 8th, which is tomorrow. And I thought, this is the perfect time to manifest. All these lessons were coming up for me. They say it's a real, with the alignment of the sun and Sirius and all the planetary alignment, they say it's one of the most potent portals to create, to manifest, to set your intentions. And so that's what I did. And in my Align class, I took the girls through a powerful, powerful class. And it was a beautiful visualization that come through. I just see, there's something behind me, fish. I just see the visualization and I speak it out in meditation with the class. And this meditation come through beautifully because I had been through it myself. I surrendered into how I was feeling. I learnt the lessons. I taught the lessons into class. And then we all kind of learnt from what do we need to change moving forward going into this powerful Lionsgate portal, and what intentions can we set, and what do we need to shift in our life for us to go into this next season. So I want to kind of leave you with this card, and I want to leave you with the question, like, where are you maybe forcing, where are you maybe blocking, where are you maybe controlling that you need to let go of the guilt, that you need to let go of the pushing and let go of the listen to the resistance. How can you surrender more into the bigger plan? How can you let go of what you're trying to cling to or what you're fighting with, and look at the signs around you and look at how you're feeling. Check in with your energy, all the things that I've gone through with you, and really deep dive and reflect. Whether you journal, whether you have a shower and think about it, reflect on it when you're driving, or whether you actually write it down. Where do you need to surrender and let go for you to release and step into a more aligned version of you, have more of an aligned life, and get yourself back into this beautiful grounded alignment and get back into your own center? How can you do that? And I want to leave this last card with you, which is all around follow your own rhythm. It says, deep within, you are moved by an ancient, powerful force that cannot be tamed. It is the rising pulse of your connection to the life force. You feel it in your bones, in your blood, in your heart, and in your belly. When there is something dying within, you sense it falling away, no longer needed. You sense when it's time to rest and it's time to patiently be in transition. You feel a stirring of agitation and restlessness when new life calls you to create, to act, to step forward, and to take a risk. You know that you march to your own beat, that no one else can tell you what your inner rhythms are, and that you must trust in your own timing. You cannot be rushed or forced, nor can you be held back when it is time to burst forth. Life celebrates and supports the natural rise and fall of your rhythms. This oracle brings you a special message that you cannot miss what you are destined for, nor will you gain anything by trying to push yourself. Trust in the life cycles within, and you will feel the perfect balance between effort and surrender, discipline and letting go. When it is time for the rhythm of rest, you will feel a natural slowing down and a natural slowing within, and be drawn into contemplation and environments that are more gentle, spacious, or nourishing, and perhaps more peaceful. When the rhythm plays with the beat of your heart, you will reach out to others to connect, dance, converse, sing, make music, make love, and share your wildness. You'll be drawn to uplifting groups and places where you can experience a positive energetic exchange. Your needs will be met in harmony with your own rhythms, and you will trust that you will not miss out on anything. All that you will miss out on by trusting this is anxiety. What you will gain is peace. And that's how I felt. And I had to go, you know what if the universe has a better timing, a better plan for us? What if we are trying to force things to get them done by a certain deadline, that it is delaying us for a certain reason? And I know that a lot of these delays were coming forth, were happening to show me what needs to shift, to go into this new season, this new cycle. And even this morning, I was driving home from class. I was talking to one of my girls after class, one of my teachers, she was in my class, and sharing a few things with her. And as I was driving home, the sun was rising over the cane fields, and it was like the most pinkest, reddest, enormous sun that I've seen in a long time. And I'm driving out, and all I felt in my heart was gratitude. I'm grateful that I had that beautiful conversation with Imi. I'm grateful that I had a beautiful class. I'm grateful for the timing, because that timing with her and that chat made me see this beautiful sun just rising above the cane fields as I was driving out. And this song was coming from my Raising My Vibrations playlist, was coming up, and it was all around I rise in my own rhythm. It was a beautiful song. You have to listen to that list and pop that song on. But it reminded me of one of the most powerful energies above all else, which is gratitude. Just feeling gratitude and just trusting in the timing of nature, trusting in the timing of the divine, and just being grateful for the now, being grateful for those little moments, because I lost a lot of that over those last couple of weeks, which is rushing to the next thing. And I think it was a big reminder for me too. And I'm reminding you now, how can we get more anchored into the present of the now, and how can we be more grateful for the blessings in our life? And the blessings and gratitude for the beautiful soul that you are, angels. Trust in your own rhythm. Trust in what is coming up for you. Let go of the guilt. I hope that has helped. And I can't wait to see you guys. I'm back. I really feel like I'm back. I feel like my energy's back. I've done what I've needed to. I've got the lessons and I am back. So there will definitely be a lot more coming out. And guess what? And I'm fueled with so many more ideas too, that I have got out of this last little few challenging weeks, and I know you will too. You've just got to look for the lessons, my friends. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you soon. So much love to you. Bye.